concerns and problems. If only we could just stop. Forget about it, right? Get over it. Don't think about it, please. It's a rare person who can successfully handle those big, fat worries. Methods abound to diminish worry, and they can be really effective. We can take on big problems through our own force of will, diminish their importance, or embrace prayer and faith. I've tried many methods with varying degrees of success, but some problems can really get to me, and they bring on the worrying anyway. Envision yourself worrying about something in the middle of the night. It's a bothersome piece of information, a big deal. What are your options at 3 a.m.? Are you going to wake someone up at that hour and talk it over and help you solve the problem? Will you lay awake and stare at the ceiling in full worry mode? Get up and pace the floor? Pray? Cry? Worry is a thought, and your thought is emotionally loaded with fear. If you've got a big worry, then you have a big intention. Your thoughts can create negative or positive results, so let's work on not allowing your negative worries to create undesirable outcomes. Return to the scenario where you're driving your car. Your hands are on the wheel and you're happily moving to your destination with the confidence you're going to get there. It's highly likely you're going to arrive just fine. Now let's observe you're steering the car in full worry mode. Instead of confidently going forward, your car is now in reverse at 70 miles an hour on the interstate. Your worries are creating the opposite of what you want, and they're taking you into traffic where unknown consequences abound. You can't afford to have these negative things develop in your life. How can you stop this backward slide? The quick answer is to stop worrying about them. By whatever method, diminish them in your mind so that you don't have this negative recurring thought. Again, there's some strategies for this, but I haven't found them to be very effective in the long run. Most of us like things just so, all the little ducks lined up in a row. If one of those little ducklings get out of line, we'll fuss and worry until that little guy's back in the line. We're so trained to worry. However, there is something we can do to convert our tendency to worry into a wonderful asset. Convert your worries into action items. Think of something that's worrying you. Now, put it on your to-do list or calendar. If you have a pain in your right shoulder, quit worrying about it day after day. Put it on your calendar. Quit carrying that worry. Take action and quickly decrease the odds of some really bad medical news coming your way. I feel like a doctor myself when I say, "There now, doesn't that feel better?" You can diminish that worry now. Put it on the calendar to call your doctor and make an appointment. When the reminder comes up, call the office. If you're unavailable to phone in, then move your reminder forward, but keep it on your calendar as an action item until you make a confirmed appointment with the doctor. In the meantime, leave it alone. That's the point. Don't load it up emotionally with your worry or imagine unpleasant scenarios. There's nothing else to do until you sit down with the doctor at your appointed time. You've taken action and you made the appointment. You've converted your worry to nothing more than a date on your calendar. Money problems? What can you possibly do about it at 3 a.m.? Well, for one thing, you have to stop that worry quickly. By repeating that anxious thought, you can make that lack of money a reality. Instead, you should think in terms of action. Perhaps somebody owes you money. Make a mental or written note to call that person in the morning. Decide to take action by asking your boss for that raise. Maybe it's time to launch your scheme for earning extra income. These are all positive options. Convert that worry to a line item on your to-do list or place it on your calendar. Quit carrying an emotionally loaded thought that can take you where you don't want to go. You made a positive move. Your worries are now to-do items, just neutral dates on your calendar. This is a fabulous way to get the worries off your shoulders. You haven't neglected any responsibility, you're not dealing with everything all at once, and you're not fueling those concerns with negative emotions. It took me a few weeks to get into the mode of not worrying. First, I used the trick of using the word concern rather than worry, and that did help some. After a few weeks, I got better at alleviating worry. If a concern popped up, I immediately took action or scheduled the action onto the calendar. It felt good. I could pat myself on the back for taking action and making forward progress. Good doggy. If you have a powerful worry neutralizer that works for you, then use it. However you can, don't worry negative thoughts into existence. And remember, you can go to the future to take care of those concerns. Need new tires? Write it on the calendar. Put new tires on the car. If you can't afford to put new tires in the car Wednesday, just continue to move the item forward on your calendar. Then go to the future every day and notice that your tires are not an issue, ever. Stay with it until the appointed day comes for you to get your new tires. Your job is not doing well? In your movie, you're very successful with your career, well respected, financially rewarded, and admired. I really like this one. A call comes in. It's really not good news. Hang up, look at that phone and say, this problem's going in my movie tomorrow and it doesn't exist. Problems come with a lot of forms: health, relationships, money, safety, careers, time management, etc. This is life on earth, and problems come in an endless stream. Put the issues and worry you face into your list or your calendar for action. Next, create a scenario in your movie without those concerns or view them completed. What a grateful moment. You're no longer the one driving backwards on the highway. You are dealing with those concerns in a responsible, organized, and positive way. You may not like these troubles, but you manage them as needed and organize the rest in a way that doesn't overwhelm you. Congratulations. You are only creating those things you choose. Fear may not have been conquered. That's a lot to ask. But you'll observe that it's considerably diminished in your life. Here's another powerful tool at your disposal: your words. It's very important to match your words to your vision. Create an advantage by synchronizing the future you're creating with your present actions. In the present, your actions and words are as powerful as thoughts. Take every advantage and synchronize your present to your terrific future. Make an effort to choose your words carefully. When you say, I'm thinking about it, or I'm going to, you've manifested nothing new, only the command to stay in place. You are gonna maybe later. Instead of, I'm thinking about getting a new car, say something more powerful. I see myself driving that perfect car. Rather than, I want to get a really good job, match what you're seeing in your movie and say, I'm moving forward in my perfect career. Avoid, I really need that air conditioner fixed. With that statement, you've commanded yourself to be needy. Ouch. Try instead, I'm having that air conditioner fixed, or I will have that air conditioner fixed. Don't be wanting or needy. These statements are weak forces. See yourself receiving instead and forcefully moving towards the future of your creation. When you're wanting or needing, then you are loading yourself for failure. If your words are about wanting or needing something, then you have made the command to remain in a place of want or need. Managing your words is an acquired skill. Don't think badly of yourself when you trip on a word. Be aware that your thoughts and words have power, but give yourself some slack, please. Break the cycle of repeating negative and weak words. Choose more positive statements in your day and keep manifesting the future you want. Chapter 7. And you don't need number 3, who you really are. I still remember the day when I was explaining this way of manifesting to a friend. I was in my study on the phone, sitting comfortably and looking at a wall of bookshelves. I was wrapping up the explanation about dealing with fear when a new thought began streaming into my head. It was clearly a new idea, fully formed and insisting to be expressed. I just gave in and allowed this idea to flow into the conversation. You know, all of those woo-woo, guru books, all of those self-help and metaphysical seminars, all of the Sunday school instruction and late-night discussions over wine about how things work, they generally come down to a few simple truths. One of those concepts, and to many it's a true thing, is that if we could be who we truly are, our higher selves, we could do anything. We could walk on water. We could move mountains. We could turn water into wine. I subscribe to that, but it's near impossible to achieve that state of being, your higher self. It would certainly be difficult to be all that you are for the length of your entire movie. Pretend that you're going to your personal movie theater and I'm standing at the front door, making sure that you have everything in order. I'm there to ensure that you're at full strength, your highest possible self. You aspire to be all that you are. Nothing is left to chance, so that when you go into your theater and run your movie, everything that you can imagine will happen. Your higher self can make miracles happen instantly, and that's why you're there. At the theater door, I carefully look you over. That's good, I say. You've been taking care of yourself. I see you've been on a stringent diet. Excellent. And you're wearing all white. Nicely done. Good, good. So, have any impure thoughts? Oh, that damn buzzer went off. Too bad. Your impure thoughts disqualify you from going in. You're not at full potential. Don't worry. You don't have to be perfect to see your perfect movie. There's an easier way. I observe that when I'm in my movie, I've never been so powerful. Instead of facing the bouncer, I'm like a 3-year-old that skips the front door, goes around the theater, and enters through the side door. Once I'm in the theater, I can run my movie every time. I'm a small child watching my movie. I don't intellectualize or doubt the possibility of what I'm seeing. I just watch the show. It flows all over me, and I'm happy to be there. Nothing gets in the way, and I don't judge what I'm seeing. I just watch the movie. You see yourself in your future, and it's just fabulous. And scene after scene, you're in your future without judgment or trying to calculate how you got there. You just accept what you're seeing and experience what it feels like. It's an emotional experience at times, and you feel very happy. You are actually creating your future by walking around in your scenes and powering them emotionally with gratitude. Your power. We are more powerful than we understand. Regular folks have seen their higher selves or experienced who they truly are at full strength. Witnesses have often reported seeing their friends or acquaintances in supernatural ways. Stories of this kind are not that rare. These visual and emotional experiences are witnessed in dreams, visions, and in wide-awake experiences. Sometimes people observe their friends as very tall and dressed in a robe, or the friend may seem to be floating and translucent. Others describe a person they recognize, solid physical in their home, but the person they saw was thousands of miles away at the time. I've seen this phenomenon for myself, and so have some of my acquaintances. Truly, if you could see who you truly are, in full form, you would be stunned at the power, potential, and the love that you hold and project. We are all capable of amazing feats. If your higher self walked into a restaurant, all of us inside would hit the ground without thinking. We would know you were God or someone very big. We could not imagine anything more powerful than you, and we would react in reverence. That is the potential in you, in me, and the baby going by in the stroller. We are so much bigger than we can understand or comprehend. This life on earth is very convincing, but beyond our physical selves, we are free spiritual beings without limits. At times we're like fish out of water, flopping on the beach and gasping for air. It would be comical if our lives weren't so painful and confusing at times. If we could see the larger picture, we'd only be moderately concerned with our troubles, knowing that we can get out of any jam and resolve any problem. We are fully empowered to manipulate the world around us with our thoughts, words, and actions. So you don't need number 3. The potential of our higher selves is an interesting theory, but it's not necessary to your success. Don't go into your movie thinking you have to be a perfect Supergirl or Superman. You're just going to trip up on your own cape. All you have to do is quietly flow through the parts of your movie as a child would do, and nothing exceptional of you is required. You now have the direction. You know what you want to create for yourself. You have your hands on the wheel, so be smart. Point yourself to happiness. Chapter 8. Get ready. It is already happening. At times you may observe your movie starting to flow over to the physical world in a small way. It's not a full-blown event you're waiting for, but a snippet. A clue that the future you're working on may be just around the corner. An analogy would be that you dropped something into your outer garment and it bled into the next one, flowing across the boundary. For example, I've heard this story a number of times about men and women putting that perfect partner into their movie. Their search for a significant other had been in a drought condition for some time. Later I hear that they bumped into some interesting people via friends, at parties, or by sheer coincidence. Suddenly, they're steadily meeting attractive people. Some have said they're too busy to date people who aren't perfect for them. Others observed that they really liked someone at first, but after some time they definitely knew this person was not the one. A few people catch on to what's being manifested, and others fall into a sort of complaint. It always makes me chuckle, and I offer, isn't this what you were going for? You wanted to meet that perfect partner, and now interesting people are starting to roll in. One can make the case that the perfect partner intention is starting to manifest, to flow over into the physical world. If I chat with these folks a bit more, they admit they're learning something from the process. They find a new person is really not compatible with them after the first few meetings, but with each new person they learn more about themselves and what's really important in their lives. I've been there and I'm doing that. Surprisingly, a number of traits that seemed unattractive before are now more acceptable, and with these new companions there are other characteristics that are absolutely, positively not. Sometimes love appears and then disappears. For whatever reasons, a relationship doesn't hold. Some are saddened by the experience and others feel rejuvenated. Regardless, something important has happened to those lucky people. Their hearts opened. They felt love. Everything works just as it should. Lightning struck. The impossible found them, and it's entirely probable that love will find them again. A new acquaintance told me an interesting experience recently. This man had not been in a loving relationship for a very long time. He wondered if it was his fault, that somehow he was getting in the way of having the serious relationship he desired. He felt like his heart was encased in steel and unable to care. Then came an event that turned his thinking around. He met the 2.5-year-old daughter of his neighbor and was instantly smitten. The little girl took to him, and now they enjoy a wonderful friendship. Since she's not family, they don't get to see each other frequently, but the girl definitely opened his heart and demonstrated the possibilities of love finding him again. With a renewed hope, he's working to manifest his perfect partner. When friends mention they're starting to encounter more interesting people or falling in love for a time, I like to say they're on the right bus. They are working an intention for their perfect partner, so it follows that more meaningful people are coming into their lives, getting on the bus. New and interesting friends are made. Amazing! Those that are paying attention remark that the drought is apparently over and they relax. Something new is flowing and moving in their favor. Some of these acquaintances set the bar a bit higher. This person is not quite that perfect one, but he or she is like a template for what the ideal companion would be. It gets better. The person they are seeking is also seeking them. Their perfect partner may be at the next stop. Here's a recent example. About a year ago, I met a delightful woman at a gallery exhibition of my artworks. She had previously worked at this gallery, but we had never met. She went out of her way to be there, and I was delighted that she liked my exhibit. Part of my responsibility that night was to spend a little time with everyone in conversation and thank them for coming to my show. It was a busy night, so the woman and I didn't have a lot of time for conversation. After the exhibit, I asked her if she wanted to go to the restaurant next door so we could talk more. We had a lovely conversation over a number of topics. The conversation came around to asking or wishing for better in our lives. She was someone who did put forward requests or prayers. One of her wishes was to find a good companion and partner, so I began to talk about manifesting. I recommended that she put forward the idea of her perfect partner. Recently, I attended an important event, her wedding reception. I met her husband, a wonderful man, and it's a delight to see the two of them so happy together. I stole a moment to ask her, "So after we met, did you continue to do the manifesting idea we spoke of?" "Yes," she said. Another question. "So did you use the term perfect partner when you were manifesting?" She gazed up a bit and then smiled and said, "Yes, I did." Pretty good so far, I thought. "And did you do your manifesting every day and include your perfect partner?" "I did, right up until the day we got married." She smiled and glowed as only brides can do. Her new husband told me that she just came to his mind one day and he felt the urge to try to find her using the social networks. They had attended high school together, and he successfully located her on the one network where she used her maiden name. She listed some professional expertise with computers, so he contacted her requesting help with his. I laughed out loud, and we gave each other a congratulatory high five. Turns out there wasn't a computer problem at all, but two very good people did find their perfect partners. Increase the chances. You're doing your movie every day. Excellent. Now, should you go downstairs, turn off the phones, and lock the door, right? Of course not. Live your normal life, but be observant. Your thoughts are changing things around you. You may be invited to more events and meet new people. These are all opportunities for you to be in a better position to receive what you're manifesting. You may be presented with a new job opportunity, important health information, who knows? Be assured that what you seek is moving your way. Change your limiting patterns. Not everything in your movie can find you by calling you or walking through your front door. Work smart. Get out and increase the odds for a good result. Be in the world and let your wonderful future find you. Don't put yourself in highly uncomfortable or dangerous situations. That's not in your movie, and it's completely unnecessary. When you continue your movie, you'll begin to see improvements in your life. If you were to graph your progress, you wouldn't see a perfectly upward 45-degree angle. Life has its ups and downs, even if you're a smashing success. This isn't heaven on earth, so there's going to be the usual peaks and valleys. However, your life will be different because you'll be creating something more positive. Once you begin your movie, your graph with the peaks and valleys will remain, but the overall trend line of your graph is upward. You're not doing this alone. Yes, you're creating these future scenarios, but notice that others are helping. You may be meeting new people, encountering important ideas, and receiving helpful coincidences. Because you say yes more, you will find yourself in different places with new faces, experiences, and the opportunities required for your new life. You're making miracles and moving mountains, right? Do you know how to move mountains? Get a lot of ants. Chapter 9. The bonus. Grateful things. I've heard it said in many ways. Happiness is a side effect of gratefulness. You don't have to be a Pollyanna to bring a little more happiness into your life. The simple act of being appreciative can make your attitude in your day a little better. Being grateful leads to positive acts like chatting up the store clerk or remembering to say a simple thank you more often. Everybody gets this concept. It's nothing new. We've already discussed that gratefulness is an important component in your movie, but there is more. The act of being grateful can be further focused and used to your benefit. I've always been a little above average in the grateful category. Before I heard about this bonus, I was very satisfied and really had no thoughts or compelling reasons to raise my level of gratitude. But then I came across something Judy Goodman said in a lecture. To my mind, it was a throwaway line, something I'd heard many times in different ways. It was a little sweet bit of Philosophy 101 and not of much value to me at the time. She said, every day, think of 7 grateful things. I didn't recognize that pearl of wisdom. I didn't feel the urge to use the information, nor did I value the advice as something important, so I just forgot about it. Then came the day that I was gazing out the window of my perfect home, my junkyard. I was very happy and very fortunate to be in my ideal house. I had many to thank, did so, and then my mind went blank. The thought came to me that my life was perfect right out to the curb line. Everything was just as it should be, and I was very happy and comfortable inside that perimeter. My world inside was peaceful and a dream come true. This was the world I was presently aware of. Beyond my curb was an unpredictable world with trillions of moving parts. Then it hit me. Maybe I was having a psychic episode, but I clearly understood that just outside the curb line was my own personal junkyard. Beyond my present awareness was another zone of things I no longer considered, but they were part of me just the same. In this case, I was given a general representation of the negative things I was carrying around. There was a lot of junk. I really couldn't see, but what I perceived was the equivalent of an unsavory pile of old metal parts, tangled up barbed wire, and scattered litter everywhere. I clearly had the sense of my small-time personal garbage. Beyond my usual awareness was a landscape cluttered with all I hadn't dealt with or forgiven. It was the litter from my past, and as minor as it was, I was unconsciously shouldering this load and creating limits for myself. My old personal rubbish was everywhere, just out of sight until now. It was embarrassing. Some of this trash might have represented negative interactions I had with someone. I was getting the impression that I couldn't see it, but other people were remembering those events. Ouch. It was now a couple of months after Judy's lecture, and curiously, her advice came back to me at that moment. Every day, think of 7 grateful things. Prompting wasn't required. I went right to it. I stood there looking out of the window and quickly came up with 7 items I'm very pleased to have in my life. I am grateful for my perfect health, my perfect home, the marvelous people and teachers throughout my life, my successful career as an artist, my ability to travel. I'm grateful that I'm doing what I'm here to do. I'm not concerned about my finances. I let those grateful things flow from my heart, and I went back to my day. The next afternoon, I looked over to the same window and remembered the junk fest of the day before. I stood in the same spot, looked out the window, and cleared my mind. By some feeling or intuition, I had a real impression that everything beyond the curb line was clear. This sense was very different from just looking out the window and not having any sensation at all. I was clearly getting a gut feeling that my junkyard had vanished. I was elated. I realized that I had been limiting myself. These bits of negativity had been holding me back, and I may have been underperforming in some way. I felt like all around me was a Teflon-coated runway for my incoming intentions. There were no obstructions around me in any direction. It felt terrific. Woohoo! The extra mile. Acknowledging my 7 grateful things was like going the extra mile. It was a bonus, and it made a difference. At a minimum, it made me happier. You can't avoid feeling better when you acknowledge the good that surrounds you. I can't precisely gauge if my intentions came in better or quicker as a result of the grateful things. I feel like they did, but it could be the cumulative results of weeks in my movie. Regardless, repeating 7 grateful things every day will give you perspective. You'll become happier from taking the time to appreciate the goodness presently in your life. It only takes a small bit of time every day to be more joyfully aware and alive. As you take note of your grateful things, don't leave out happy occurrences and successes from your past either. You can be grateful for the award you were given, the big sale last year, or that big boost of confidence from a childhood moment. Your gratefulness for past events clears the way and makes it easier for them to happen again. Further, the grateful things contain many of the same thoughts as your movie. As you gratefully revisit some of the same movie items, you layer on more intention and create more powerfully. Your grateful things are felt emotionally, reinforcing and assisting your movie. You are gratefully reasserting the positives in your life. It's a win-win situation. Minding your 7 grateful things each day is easy to do. You can go through your 7 grateful things almost at any time or place. Eyes open or shut, it can be anywhere you have a space for clear thought. Walking around the house or sitting in a waiting room. It's easy to be grateful anywhere. Your grateful thoughts can be quickly inserted all at once or bit by bit into your day. Do your grateful things before your movie and you've covered all the bases at the same time. Some find that they like splitting the 2 activities, going into grateful modes more than once a day. Also, don't make the number 7 as an absolute rule. Remember, this is all about intention, so any grateful thing you do is a positive. Some days I may not get to 7 things, and on others I may do many more. Don't be concerned about hitting the number on the nose. Use the 7 grateful things to increase your happiness and help make the way clear for the intentions of your future. Chapter 10. Before you take off. Useful bits. Lucky you. Now you're empowered to do amazing things for yourself. You don't have to wait for anything else, but just in case, here are some helpful tips. Back to Daffy Duck. I treated what I'd learned like a trick. I never thought about using the power of thought for myself. I was slow in the uptake, but I finally realized if I continued to send Judy that duck every day, she would get it in physical form. How? Perhaps some little girl would see Judy in the produce section of the grocery store, walk up to her and put a Daffy Duck sticker right on her leg. Or a courier will ring her doorbell and present her with a box containing a stuffed Daffy Duck. If you stay with your intention, it will happen. It is the law, and it will happen every time. Before you start your movie, know what you require. What are your priorities? Don't be concerned how something you desire could possibly happen. In your future, you are already enjoying that relationship, place, or thing. Imagine all the positive outcomes and be in it. You are deserving, worthy, and empowered to bring happiness and comfort into your life. Do your movie and the 7 grateful things every day. Make these daily practices a priority. It's one of the most important things we can do. You will see and feel the results of these actions. Your thoughts will bring things to you more quickly and sometimes in ways you could never plan. This is the shortcut, the way to bring what you require to you on the diagonal. You are in your future, and you are so grateful. Don't judge yourself. I have a sneaking feeling that many people do their movie better than I can do. Could I do this more efficiently? You bet. But it doesn't matter. I get it done, I'm on it every day, and I get spectacular results anyway. I fall asleep, wander, miss a day, and in some scenes forget to be grateful. I'm a visual artist, so I get involved in the look of my future scenes and forget the grateful part. I often have to go back and revisit my scenes to say, oh yes, and I'm very grateful for this, and this, and this. I'm good to myself. I don't judge myself harshly. Since I'm steadily doing my movie and 7 grateful things, progress is being made. I will reach my destination every time. A high score is not required for success, only repetitive and positive action. What's the best method for envisioning a movie? To prepare for my movie, I choose a time when I'm sitting up. The chances are far greater that I'm alert and awake. I find when I'm doing the movie laying down, I will often go to sleep because we're trained to do that. I prefer to recline, but only doing so if I'm not tired. Either way, I'm just as normal